If you haven't signed in, please take a minute and go sign in and get you a name tag. And also one of these to fill out for us, and that way we know what it is that your main goal is for being at this class tonight. My name is Stephanie Stewart. I live in Bossier City, Louisiana. I'm actually from Mississippi, where a lot of our promoters are from. But tonight I want to introduce to y'all a very special VIP. I'm so excited. I may forget some of the awesome things about her, but not only is she one of the CEOs.
Lori's laughing. Why are you laughing, Lori?
Because I get excited and I may forget something. I didn't take notes. But I will tell you, Abigail Clutch, she's a mother and of a 3-year-old little girl, and she's married. She lives in Kansas. Y'all, this woman, she has been in the fitness industry for over 10 years. What's really funny to me, she was also Miss Kansas like 16 weeks after being pregnant. That's just crazy to me. So anything that she's got to say, I'm going to be taking notes on tonight, and I really hope that y'all enjoy this class and get what it is that you came for tonight. So welcome, Abigail Clutch.
I'm so excited to be here. I like to think I'm Southern. I do, because I think it's really cool. I got to live in Oklahoma for a while, and I start talking with an accent and stuff when I'm around it, especially when I'm around Lori. Like, she just pulls it out of me. But Stephanie picked me up, and I was like, ooh, that is Southern. And then she said, one girl, she was like, she's a mess. And I was like, what's wrong with her? And she said, oh, no, she's just a mess. And I'm like, she's okay? And she's like, yeah, she's like, she's a mess. And I'm like, oh, okay, but she's okay. She's like, yeah, she's okay. And y'all are fixing to hear this presentation tonight. And I go on, I watch the Southern Women's Channel, and I send them to Lori, and I die laughing. So I love being here with you guys. I like talking to you, so please come talk to me more. Because it just makes me smile. So we're really excited to be here. How many people in this room have tried the ketones? Good, we're dosing some people in here. That's awesome. You know, this has been a really profound journey. I got to view the technology over a year ago, and I was telling Stephanie, like, I had to wait on it for about 3 months. They were still working on the formulas, and it was exciting, and I never in a million years would have thought it's been the journey that it has. This thing has taken off. We've put in over 5 million users. We're about, on May 1st, coming back around and hit a 1-year mark. Guys, that's insane. And what that tells you, I mean, the public, they're smart. We've had proteins and vitamins and energy drinks and weight loss, magic pill offerings. Like, if anything, everybody these days is more skeptical. Everybody in these days is tired of the promises, and they're tired of spending money on another thing that's all hyped up and doesn't work. And so I think it's very profound and says a lot about what we have our hands on, and the fact that y'all are sitting here in this room. It hasn't even been a year, and we're flying all over the United States right now teaching about this breakthrough in science. And so, you know, our company's name is Prove It. It's to demonstrate what's real. It's to have proof. We want to produce scientifically based, evident products. You know, I've done other things before. To do this, to be here now, I got to a point in my life, I have to have a conviction with what I'm talking about. And I truly, you know, I want my whole family on it. I want to make sure my daughter's taking it every day. I want my mom on it. I want my grandparents on it. Because I believe it. I see the stories. I see the science. It lines up. You don't get evidence-based products coming together with the testimonies like this. This is rare. And so what we want to do is simply show up tonight and bring you value. We're creating a community where we're not here to sell you a product. Nobody wants to be sold. But what we'll do is we'll tell you a lifestyle that may help you. I mean, how many people came here tonight searching for maybe some answers for better health practices? Okay? How many people in this room tonight, well, and I won't make you raise your hand, but want to shed a few pounds, want to have more energy? Maybe they've been told they're on the road to diabetes, or maybe there's type 2 diabetics in here, or maybe there's people in here suffering with depression. You know, the cool thing is that this technology, this research, this lifestyle of eliminating carbs and sugar from your diet has been around for decades. It's already been researched, it's already been practiced. People will go to institutes to practice doing this because of the therapeutic effects of ketones and having that restrictiveness, pulling out those poisons that cause inflammations in their body. And before we get started with this tonight, you know, I used to eat every 2.5 hours. I like carbs. If you looked through my Instagram last night, I had a big old mousse dessert, and I like moderation. I like balance. Okay, but in this community, I think sometimes the best way to understand the power of what exogenous ketones are is to kind of back up and to give you a little bit of the lifestyle of what a ketogenic diet is. And I'll tell you right now, I don't follow a ketogenic diet. I follow more of a higher fat, low carb paradigm. You have to fit a nutritional paradigm that works for you. And you'll never get drastic changes if you don't get the nutrition portion on board. And so when I come in and talk to people, I'm going to tell you about the ketones. I'm going to tell you about the benefits. I'm going to tell you about the science. But I also want to help you use the ketones to be a spark to set that fire. And that change and that transformation, it's not going to be what you want it to be. And we're not going to promise you a magic pill. But what I hope you get out of this tonight is to leave here with the ketones that are going to help a myriad of things going on, but you'll use that to also help maybe change a little bit of those eating habits and maybe help you in the kitchen make some better choices. And I've been dieting people and doing a nutrition program for many years, and I have never found a supplement like this where when people take it, they say, I feel so good, I'm not having cravings. What should I do nutritionally? Usually, I'm handing people nutrition programs and I'm trying to tell them to follow it. It's like it's backwards with this. People feel so good they want to start down a journey to better, versus where I come from, I'm handing you a diet, I'm handing you a workout, and I'm trying to get your head psychologically to feel better, because most people don't have the desire to follow something until they've done it with discipline for like 2 or 3 weeks. And by that time, they usually messed up, they feel shame, they quit trying. So if this product helps people reduce inflammation, have more energy, have a better mood, takes away cravings, and it enables you to then make some really good lifestyle changes like moving each day, eliminating some of those carbohydrates, picking up those good fats, then I think we'll all leave here tonight with a plan, a layout for how to make some good changes. And I just want you to walk away feeling like you got a lot of value for taking the time to get here tonight. So we'll get started here. Great quote, Eleanor Roosevelt: yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift. And then, you know, before you start in a journey, guys, you've got to have a goal. And a lot of times what we'll do, even in this, this Prove It journey, we ask people, you know, do you want to be a customer or do you want to be a promoter? Which one? Because if you want to be a customer, I just want to help you implement this into your lifestyle so you can have results. I don't need to push anyone in anything. I want to know your goals. I want to know what your projections are. And then by sharing those goals with somebody else, and this is true in your health, this is true in your business, this is true in your relationship with Christ, you have accountability partners, this is true everywhere. It's important to write down and manifest what you want and share it with somebody. So maybe think active engagement tonight. Like, take some notes as we go through this presentation. I think it'll help you get engaged. I think you'll get some gold nuggets out of it. And I want you to leave and feel like you can implement things. So where I like to start is goals, writing them down. So we'll come back to those goals and how to implement, but let's go over real quick, what is a ketone, okay? Beta-hydroxybutyrate is a form of a ketone. And basically what happens is when you eliminate sugar and carbohydrates out of your diet, when you take that away, all away, and for women it takes about 3 or 4 weeks sometimes. Men, we just hate them. They can not look at pizza and lose 8 pounds, but men get there faster. What happens is your body is out of a fuel source because you deprive it of that sugar, the carbohydrates. That's what we run off of. We run off of glucose for energy. When you take that away, your body goes, wait, where's my fuel source? And it starts searching in your body for a new fuel source. At that point, it finds fat. It finds stored fat. And it's going to take that fat and go through a process of ketosis. It's going to go through the liver and come out as beta-hydroxybutyrate. It's a very powerful compound. So what you have here is you have carbohydrates, they convert to sugar. You have proteins, they convert to amino acids, which are important. And you have fats, which through ketosis in the body, and that's depriving and restricting your sugar and carbohydrates, you can produce ketones, which is an energy source. And so it has a myriad of things that it's going to do in your body. You know, some of the things, the testimonies that I see more than anything is the balanced hormones, the regulated, the lowering of the insulin levels. Type 2 diabetics coming off of metformin, and mind you, I'm talking right now about a nutritional lifestyle, but being able to have more energy, helping reduce blood sugar. Like, we have from the beginning also been taking documentations of people taking ketones, and we're monitoring the panels. We're seeing the biomarkers. It's incredible, and that data has been very important, and you're going to get to see more and more of that as the life of this goes on. But, you know, Lori's ready to eat, so, but,
I don't know where it's going.
Glucose is basically the culprit of all disease-type inflammations, okay? What feeds into inflammation, we know, is sugar. Sugar is the culprit. How many people, they can tell you, maybe they had a binge, or if they eat sugar, maybe they notice their immune system starts going down and they have a chance to get sicker. If you've never restricted it, you may not notice that. But when I start eating sugar in my diet, I start getting colds, I start getting migraines, I start getting infections that women don't want to get. It ain't fun, you know, but once we get that sugar out of there and we are starting to run off of a cleaner energy source, that's ketones, and it's not a fair fight. And these are all the things that we can see are happening with our diet here in America and all over the world. We are a high carbohydrate country. Everybody's eating carbs everywhere. And it's converting into all these metabolic syndromes, infections, injuries, arthritis. I have seen so many people get their pain under control with this lifestyle. We have, you know, a good resource I'll show you at the end is called Keto Clarity. They've been using coconut oils and carb and glucose restrictions to help with to really slow down the process of Alzheimer's. There's books you can read on that. Asthma and allergies, so many things actually come back to our diet. And until you pull it out, you won't even see what the culprit is. It's amazing how we have turned so much to medication versus prevention. And once you hang around this company longer, once you see the testimonies and stories of people taking a plunge, taking these things out of our diets and then getting results, it's mind-blowing. If you just stay engaged to see it long enough, you will want to try it. So we're talking about, the question is talking about ketones versus glucose. And really the way that this all began, the technology of ketones, was actually for the brain. It was funded by DARPA. They started doing technology and research with Navy SEALs. When they would dive deep, they would get seizures. So it was a barometric pressure. And ketones helped increase the oxygen level and added a neurological brain protection. So this isn't just this is profound science and how they came across this. And then they started using it for soldiers. Because what happens to you when you haven't eaten in a while? What's the first thing that kind of goes? You're grumpy, starts playing with your mind, your mood, your decision making, the way you relate to other people, the blood sugar dropping. Okay, so soldiers out in the field, not able to get to food, not able to get to that glucose, which is a fast burning fuel source, mistakes happen. So they started using ketone and ketone esters, and they used it at Oxford with the rowing team. And they continued this technology on at the University of South Florida, and our company went in, they got the patent, and we actually made the first, this stuff tastes like, ketones are disgusting. So when I hear people complain about the taste, I'm like, oh no, you don't even know. They used to do shots of it. And we got the efficacy palatable enough and the first to bring it out into the marketplace and gets you in an elevated state of ketosis within an hour. You can test it with your blood. But the ketogenic diet, going back to that, it's not paleo. How many people in here have heard of paleo? Okay, how many people in here have heard of Atkins? Okay, so we've got a little bit of basic knowledge, okay? Let's go with the Atkins. So the difference between a ketogenic diet and an Atkins diet, on the Atkins diet, it was high protein, high fat, really restrictive on the carbs. A lot of people had too high of a protein. It was actually, some people were having acid dumps, and it was harmful through the liver, and a lot of people equate ketones with that. They somehow think it's unhealthy on the liver, and I think it's that tie-in with the Atkins somehow, because a lot of people doing the Atkins were testing to see if they were having ketones. Very hard to get to if your protein is too high because of a process called gluconeogenesis. If your protein's too high, it converts into glucose. Okay, so on the ketogenic diet, we're doing a high-fat, moderate protein, really low carbohydrate, because the point of it is to produce ketones endogenously through that process of ketosis. So if your protein was too high, even if your carbs were restricted, you still weren't getting the benefits of ketones because your body was breaking the protein into glucose. So go back to that real quick. So the ketogenic diet, extremely low carb, like we just said, and some people can have more carbs than others. It just depends on your metabolic, your metabolism, what your activity is, and the way people find out what their tolerance is really just through testing. You can do it with a P-strip, but the most accurate form would be your blood. So, what are the benefits? So, with the ketogenic diet, and you can correlate this with ketones, but for sure, with the ketogenic diet, the benefits would be weight loss, blood sugar balance, and enhanced insulin sensitivity, increased in satiety, and decreased in food cravings. And while I say that, okay, just by a show of hands, if you've tried Keto OS, I want you to raise your hand if you've had this as a result, okay? Weight loss. Okay, yeah, raise it high when I say it. All right. Do we have any diabetics in here?
I was about to be on metformin until I started it, and then
Okay.
I avoided it.
Yeah. Increased satiety and decreased food cravings. That to me is huge. I traveled all day. I just lived on ketones and my keto cream. I used to get hangry when I didn't eat. It's crazy. I saw someone tap someone else. Improved energy levels. How many have had that, experienced that, right? Athletic performance, here's the thing. You have 38% more cellular energy with ketones in you. Okay, what that means for a CrossFitter is that burning sensation that happens. It's that ATP energy. It kicks in and your muscles like running out of oxygen and you can't do one more rep set. For them, it means one more rep set. All right, and there's been one of my business partners, his name is Charles Poliquin. If you Wikipedia'd him, it would say the #1 strength and conditioning coach in the world. He's been using these ketones with his Olympic athletes, with the people that he teaches at seminars. There's so much going on right now in the sports performance world and running off of this deeper, more sustainable fuel source. So migraine treatment. Yeah, I know we have some stories of that. I had a horrible migraine the other day and I took my Keto OS and it was gone. Neuroprotective benefits in seizure disorders, ADHD, Alzheimer's, memory and cognitive function, Parkinson's disease. Now this is, remember, we're talking diet here. They send people to a ketogenic institute to practice this, especially children with ADHD, who have epilepsy because of the neurological protection of ketones and getting rid of that glucose in your body. Autism, absolutely, if you search autism in children, they talk all about diet and getting rid of the glucose. Mood stabilization, I can tell you I've been on the call with so many people where the spouse interrupted and said, oh yeah, she's in a better mood. Like, your family will tell you best if this has helped your mood. I know this has helped my mood, and there's studies about ketones and the correlation of dopamine and serotonin going on. We're talking big neurological effects. I'm not even going to try and touch those studies with a 10-foot pole. I'll talk to you about that. Stroke prevention, cardiovascular disease, metabolic syndrome. People practicing the diet, they show these in their biomarkers when they start changing their lifestyle. Inflammation management, absolutely huge. How many have experienced a reduction in pain? Yeah, and I have slides on that too. And endurance enhancement. So, positive thinking, all right? I mean, positive thinking. Like, what do you want? What do you want your health to look like? Do you want to maintain what you're doing right now? Do you feel good? Do you have good energy? Do you wake up feeling great? Can you go all day? Or do you need a pop at 3 o'clock? Do you need a Monster at the gas station? Do you need a candy bar? Do you need a nap? Are you constantly crashing? Are you moody? Are you having migraines? Like, think about it. Do you want to feel good? And if that answer is yes, then what will you do about it? Like, what will you do about it? I think, this is part of where my passion kicks in. Like, I can break away absolutely from this presentation and speak all day about, setting up. I have seen so many people become a better person and get out of depression and start loving themselves more, not because of the physical or aesthetic change their body made, but because what we put in our body affects the way we behave, think, feel, relate to others so much. And I think too often we go to a doctor for medication, or we continually are living in this funk, and I'm a preacher's daughter. I've been in the circles, well, just pray for me. I don't feel good as you're eating cake. I feel awful when I eat cake too, but I do eat it sometimes. But I'm just saying, like, so often we don't turn to what the answers and the prevention could be, and we just want to slap Band-Aids on things. Like, if you really want to feel better, like, let's go here. Let's find a way, because other people are doing it. They're feeling better. Okay? The native zone. Okay? How to eat. The native state of our bodies were meant to burn ketones. We have a parallel system within us designed to use ketones as an energy source. Ketones are faster and more efficient than the way our bodies use glucose. Ketones give you 38% more energy than you get from glucose, and as a society, we're following a deceptive food pyramid. We're operating in a high-carb world where food is abundant. There was a time, however, that human beings moved in and out of a state of ketosis with the flux of scarcity and abundance. Ketones provided animals and humans with energy in times of famine. Why haven't we heard about this before? Keto OS is not an excuse on the couch and drink beer and eat pizza, which is what we're here to talk about tonight. It's a lifestyle. For best results, you need to be following the diet. And not the diet, but a diet. I want it to fit for you, whatever you choose. How do I start? This is where I encourage you to take notes so when you get home, you can write out your goals, you can really implement this in your life. Go to a keto website and look at the food list, okay? Go through your refrigerator and your pantry and identify non-keto foods, and we'll get to that food list. All right, download and print a sample menu. Go to the, everybody take your phones out right now. Everybody take your phones out right now, okay? All right. Look, open up your Facebook. We're gonna walk away with resources. Open up your Facebook, type in Prove It. P-R-U-V-I-T. She's on ketones. And go like that page, and there's notifications that you can follow that page. And while you're at it, there's other people who have shared their stories and transformations, and that takes a lot of courage to put it on social media. So go ahead, hit like, comment, great job, and share it out to your newsfeed. So that person, whoever had the guts to post that story today, feels a little bit better at the end of the day, looking back to see if people saw. Okay, when you follow that page, we have recipes, we have lifestyle videos, we have a Fitness Friday, exercising, we have cooking in the kitchen. So it'll give you a plethora of resources. Just log in every day to that Prove It page, see other people having change, be inspired, and then soak up the resources that the community will give you. You know, this is a lot to me. Like if you want, and I'm going back to the preacher's daughter thing, but like sometimes if you want to turn your life around, when you wake up in the morning, it has to be the first thing you put in your mind. All right? In the afternoon, when you have a break, maybe you need to check in again. If weight loss or eating better is your goal, maybe you need to start getting different magazines at the grocery store or looking at different websites. Like rituals have to change if you want to change. If you drive by a certain fast food restaurant every night and you can't help but go there and you think it's easy and you're tired and you didn't prep your food, like you're going to need to take a different route home, because when you hit that stoplight, there's something in your subconscious that triggers, when I hit this light, literally this can happen. You can start salivating thinking about a double cheeseburger because it is programmed in you. Can anybody equate with that? When you're trying to quit smoking, if you've been smoking cigarettes and you want to quit smoking, one of the things that they say to do is take a different route to work. Because a lot of people who are trying to quit smoking, they'll come to that spot where they typically light up, or they'll hear that song in the morning and they'll have a physical response to it. So things got to switch up a little bit. You got to be willing to detour the triggers to get different outcomes on the behavior. Okay? Download print sample menu, and that's preparing. If you don't prepare for it, it's going to be a fail. Okay? Calculate your macros, carbs, proteins, and fats. So there's these resources. There's these two websites. Okay? And then something else that I like is on an iPhone. It's an app called My Macros, and I can put in ratios that I want to hit, and you can find for you what those ratios would be at the Keto Calculator. You can also do MyFitnessPal. So when I say macros, let's just kind of cover. You've got 3 basic macros, but now we have 4. What you had was protein, fat, and carbohydrates. All right, we're calling ketones because they give you that energy almost like a fourth macronutrient source. Okay, the typical Western diet, you can see this. A lot of people can go on a carb reduction, and then here you go with the ketogenic diet. It's mostly fat, moderate protein, and a little bit of carbs. Carbohydrates mostly also come from your trace amounts found in other food. Like if you ate peanut butter, you've got some carbs in there. Also vegetables are going to be carbohydrates. So there's your macros. So that's a good one, MyFitnessPal. And start tracking your food. When I started working with people in nutrition programs, they had no idea what their food was like. They just didn't. They thought what they were doing was healthy. I had so many women who would wake up in the morning, have a coffee, or go grab a big old gulping Diet Coke, no substance, no fuel, no nutrients. They'd get to work, and then they'd be starving, and they'd have a salad. They'd have a salad for lunch. And then they would have an apple for a snack because they were trying to lose weight. Then they'd have an apple for a snack. And then they'd go home and they'd be so hungry. And I didn't eat much today. And they'd let down because they're tired. And everything at that point, their metabolism had shut down all day, slowed down. And then they just put this big pool of food in it, and it goes all to storage when they go to bed. And even if, let's say they had a healthy meal, okay? They still were only about 1,100 calories that day, and they're trying so hard to lose weight, and they're so hungry. And it's so sad to see such discipline and restrictiveness applied to food, and someone trying so hard with the deprivation process and not getting inner results. Like, that's sad, and it's just it's just a lack of knowledge. Like, food is fuel. And we just have to learn to use it appropriately, okay? So, I'm gonna make sure you have like a typical day that I think works, but what may work for me may not work for you, and so it's really important to have these resources where you could go plug in your own body weight, your own activity level. I move more than a lot of people. I go to the gym and lift 45 minutes a day. You know why? Because I get cranky if I don't. And if I don't work out for more than 2 or 3 days, I have an inclination towards depression. And I have to have those endorphin release. I have to have my 2 servings a day. I have to keep sugar out of my diet because for years I struggled and people around me were affected by it. But I am a moody person, I really am. But I have learned how to apply resources and practices into my life to keep me. Y'all think I'm kind of normal. You'll think I'm normal. So it's important. You got to function in the world, right? So, and then this is just a way, checking your urine. If you were going to do the ketogenic diet, you can go ahead to the next. There's another one. Go back real quick. So, I'm sorry. If you do want to try the ketogenic diet where you restrict all the carbohydrates, then what you would do is test. And guys, I'm pretty good at dieting. I competed for 4 years, and I tried the ketogenic diet, and I had a lot of trouble making ketones endogenously in my body. It was hard, and I had gotten out of the industry because I was a little bit tired of extreme and the mental toll it took to follow a diet. I wanted more balance and moderation in my life. So, but I also had a back injury at the time, and I was fighting inflammation, and I knew how powerful ketones were. So this is the divine appointment, okay? When I was practicing the ketogenic diet and frustrated, I was trying to heal pain. I have a 3-year-old daughter. I couldn't tie my shoe unless I laid on a bed. It was a horrible, debilitating back injury. And I couldn't function on the painkillers. I spent lots of money on the massage, the Kairos. I finally turned to the diet because I kept reading The Power of Ketones. But I couldn't get it in my body to produce. I'd be too stressed and I would knock myself out of ketosis. I came from a world where I was eating 150 protein a day, and now I gotta eat 80 or my body will convert it to glucose, and then I don't make ketones. So it was very hard for me to get there, but people who practice the ketogenic diet are purists, they're advocates, and they want everybody on it, and it's not, I mean, it's not because they want everyone to be like them, it's because they've had so many healing effects with it. And I tell people often, if you have a medical application or you want to lose a lot of fat, it's a great option. But if you just want to, you know, maybe start with 1 foot in, like, don't jump into the ketogenic diet. It's hard, it's extreme, and I think if we jump all in sometimes and we fail quickly, we quit trying. So I like to set up guidelines and some moderation, but this struggle, the struggle is real, all right, producing that purple. How many of you had ever tried to do it on your own and couldn't get past a pink or a peach? Okay. What color did you get after your first scoop of Keto OS?
Like a light pink.
A light pink.
Yeah.
And trust me, if you haven't moved from here, when you see that light pink, you're like, woo! It's good. I was practicing the ketogenic diet at the time that I tried my first serving. So I got a call. I was doing the ketogenic diet. I got a call from a friend. Said, you have to come to California. We have a technology here you're going to want to see. Do you know anything about the ketogenic diet? I'm like, I'm on it. And it's not working. And he said, get up here. And I went to California and I took a dose of this stuff, went to the bathroom and peed on a stick. That is what I got, paired with the ketogenic diet. It blew my mind. I felt like I had 8 light bulbs pop on in my head. It was like a euphoric feeling. We had been sitting in meetings all day. It was nothing like drinking a Monster or an energy drink or Coke. It was like this clean, I felt like I'd had a 30-minute nap. I was ready to go. And I knew if I felt that from 1 dose, we had something really powerful, because America needs that. America's sitting at desk jobs. America's not moving. America's struggling with food cravings. Like, this is something I wanted to be a part of. And so, tested purple. So this is a little bit scattered, but going back to setting your goals, starting into this lifestyle, I get so frustrated when I see people get so upset about the scale, because it's just not an indicator, especially for women. I will be up 5 pounds if I have a meat with too much salt in it, or like if I lift my legs. If I work out and I lift weights on my legs, I will go up 6 pounds on a scale, because when you tear your muscles, you retain, you have swelling, it's fluid. And so you've been working really hard and been really good on your diet, and after 2 weeks, you're up 2 pounds, you're like done. You're like, I'm not doing this anymore. And so I hate the scale. I think it's more of a bi-weekly thing to get kind of an idea of where you're at. Honestly, I can put on a pair of jeans and know where I'm at. Now, I like the scale for also building muscle, because when I competed and the weight went up and my waist size went down, I knew that was going to help me win. But for everybody else, I don't get, like, it's not a good indicator of your results, and it'll detour you mentally fast. So I like to tell people, I would have my clients take pictures weekly and take measurements weekly. And I always have them do it on Wednesdays, because studies show that's the best day of the week that you're going to get your most accurate reading. A lot of times we cheat a little bit on the weekends, and so kind of getting back into it Wednesday, it's more of a true measurement of where you're at. But guys, just take the pictures, get the same outfit, same lighting, same spot, take your pictures, and do take pictures, because it really keeps you going with your journey as you see the progress, and you can have that to look back on, and you need to see it. It's a powerful thing. So you have your goals. You got to know your why. Is it more energy? Is it weight loss? Is it sleeping better? Is it better focus? Is it anti-aging? Like, if you do not know your why, you will eat that cookie and that donut and that cake. Like, absolutely you'll eat it. Why not? because you don't know your why. Write your goals down. Know your why. Maybe it's not fat loss. Like maybe you suffer with depression. Maybe you have chronic inflammation. Maybe you have pain that's debilitating. Like know your why and then see in the journey ahead, what do you want your life to look like? Who do you want to be? So I'm big on that. Write it down. Okay, so going back to the food list. Okay, I just kind of jumped. So the food list, fats. Let's get like practical here. What are we eating? Avocado, grass-fed butter, chicken fat, ghee, macadamia nuts, almonds, pecans, mayonnaise, olive oil, coconut butter, peanut butter. Be careful with peanut butter. It does have carbs. And then go on to the next one. Proteins. You got fish, eggs, meat, poultry, bacon, sausage, still peanut butter, and then vegetables. Vegetables are an extremely important part of a healthy diet, but sometimes we're stuck with decisions we might regret later. Some vegetables are high in sugar and don't cut it nutritionally, so we need to wean them out. The best type of vegetables for keto diets are high in nutrients and low in carbohydrates. These, as most of you can guess, are dark and leafy. Anything that resembles spinach or kale will fall into this category, and that's the best thing we'll put in there. Dairy. Unless you're maybe approaching menopause or you have had a metabolic damage or have had some kind of hormone issue, then I really believe dairy is fine for most people, and when it's also used in more of its purest form. I think this same thing about gluten. I think unless you're celiac, I think most gluten allergies are probably because we've restricted something for so long and then we tried to put it back in. I deal with this with competitors all the time. They go months and months and months without eating anything, and then they try and put it back in their diet and it makes them sick. So, you know, there's debates about that. I haven't seen a lot of concrete studies, but I have seen a lot of testimonies and heard a lot of stories of people who eliminate the gluten and the dairy, and sometimes N=1 is your strongest argument if it works for yourself. So I use dairy. If I go have pizza on a cheat meal or something, I won't have severe reactions, but that might not be the same for somebody else. So it's something worth always experimenting with yourself and what you tolerate. So, yeah, here are some vegetables that would be higher in sugar. We wouldn't eat them on a ketogenic diet. Potatoes, that's a carb. It just is. Beans, those are gonna, and what it's gonna do is, you know, if you were looking at the glycemic index, if you were eating it, what is it gonna do to your blood sugar after you eat it? That's why we base like corn. It's gonna spike blood, like that's gonna have some sugar in it. So, so let's say we just do our best and we eat, you know, this keto lifestyle, and Friday night comes. What went wrong, right? Like, can anybody live this way, you know? And unless you have a severe medical application or it's just been something you have really put as a big part of your life in, a lot of people don't get to producing ketones endogenously. They just can't carry it out and stick with it, and I'm one of those. I had a lot of trouble doing it. And so, you know, we have so many things that get in our way. Life, I mean, I really got sick of showing up to parties with my Tupperware because I competed for so long, and I just decided I don't want to be rude. I don't want to say no all the time when I show up to someone's house and they cook something. I'm tired of being that girl. But at the same time, if you have goals, you're going to have to put a box around yourself. Like, you're going to have to learn how to sometimes bring your own food. If you got big goals, it might take a big change. I'm to a place where I have maintenance in my life, and I've worked very hard to get here, and I want that balance and moderation. But some of you may be fighting getting on medications, or you've been warned at the doctor, this is going to happen if you don't change your lifestyle. And that's where you have to be able to step up and say, you know what, I'm trying a different nutritional paradigm right now. Thank you so much. I'm going to just bring my chicken and kind of heat it up. Like, it's okay. Sometimes you got to do you. You got to speak up for you and put your health first so you can then help and serve others. So, food temptations, there's your triggers. We talked about that. Things that would trigger you. I think working in an office is very hard. So you're going to need to learn how to drink your keto OS. Seriously, I don't know anything better that detours my cravings than these ketones. I used to tell people, take celery, it's really crunchy, it'll keep your mouth entertained, like drink tons of water, get a Crystal Light. Guys, I've come up with hacks for 5 years for women working in offices. I have never seen anything like this that works so well. They get their coconut LaCroix, they put their scoop of ketones in, they shake it up, they look forward to it. Everybody else is standing around. Don't go back in that room. Don't go around that tray. Don't talk to people by the food. Get your drink and like stay away from it. That's what we do with bad things in life, right? We don't go there. So don't put yourself in the line of temptation. And then having those ketones really is going to help stabilize the hormone. When your hormones are stabilized, you're not signaling to your ghrelin hormone that you're hungry. Most of the time we're not hungry. A lot of times we're thirsty. So get a big jug of water, put it down, then drink your ketones. That's going to help curb your appetite. Hormones, it's going to help balance hormones. Sleep, lack of sleep. Guys, if you don't get a good night's rest, oh, your appetite, your cravings are dictated by your lack of sleep. How many of you know what I'm talking about? If you don't get sleep, you're like McDonald's. I don't care. Like, sweets, salty, all day long. You're like, I think I'll feel good if I have a candy bar. Oh, my blood sugar's crashing. I need pretzels, they have salt. Like, you're just on this scale, this spectrum. And I'm telling you, if you could be more proactive about getting to bed, put your phone in the other room. Like, have a time where it's shutting down. Things have to shut down. You have to have boundaries. You have to put that in place because you're on a mission the next day to do good, all right? To have a better day, to have a healthier lifestyle. And it starts the night before with your rest. Stress. You know how we lose fat? We lose fat through hormones. It's actually not at the gym. And food helps balance and stabilize and feed our bodies. Hormones are huge. So we have to take measures to get more sleep and to reduce our stress in life. So, like, what do you do for you? 10 years experience. What do you do the last 10 years? Yeah. So when you wake up in the morning, do you rush out of bed and start taking care of everybody else and getting them out the door? Like, could you set your alarm for 5 minutes to maybe open up your phone app and maybe put some scripture or some kind of meditation or some kind of something to help your perspective to start the day, to start it on the right path? And then at your lunch hour, could you take a couple minutes to maybe go where nobody can be around you? And I'm an introvert, so I have to do these things, but like, do you have times in your day where you could even set a little timer on your phone, sit it there, and just sit and breathe, think about how it's going. And I find that sometimes the best way to lower my stress is to think about what I can do to serve somebody else. Because I start getting stressed when I'm thinking about all the things I got to do for me. And it creates a mentality. It's just a tip that something that I have found that helps is that when I can get myself in a place of more serving and like listening to people, like this helps reduce my stress level. And then guys, if you don't get to a gym, if you don't like the gym, don't go to the gym, okay? Because you're not going to stick with it. Don't go get a membership if you hate a gym, all right? Maybe you feel like you gotta lose some fat before you go in a gym because you don't want to be seen in a gym. I get that. I've worked with women for a long time. Get out for a walk, all right? Instead of that one-year gym membership, like get some workout equipment at home. There are so many apps on our phones these days. There are so many Facebook celebrity-made people who will show you their workout for free, and like just do something that moves you. Do something that gets your blood flowing. Do something that just gets your mind cleared. Oxygen, taking breaths, you know, you got to start somewhere. Just get up and move to start, and then let those ketones and feeling better and energy kind of guide you to where you want to go next. All right, stay too long. So what we're talking about now is how hard it is. This is a lifestyle that I'm trying to follow. You know, I'm doing more of the higher fats, lower carbs lifestyle. But I'm not producing ketones through the diet. And so I want to run off of ketones. So I am basically eliminating as much carbs and sugar from my diet as possible 80% of the week. Because like I told you, I come from more of a place where I'm fighting a mental disorder of being 100% right and neurotic and it controlling my life. So for me, having that 20% of freedom when I go out to eat with people and you know, to order something, that's actually a healing place for me. Everybody's journey is different. But when I can fuel off of ketones and for 80% of the week really kind of live in a fat lifestyle, I feel amazing. And so I am so excited that we have this technology because it feels so much better than glucose. It just does. So kind of how to start. Like I said, I don't want everybody to leave here tonight and do the ketogenic diet. What I'm telling you is that the ketogenic diet has been around for ages. Ketones have been a therapeutic healing effect for ages. People have been trying to get there for all the benefits that we've seen. That's some help on if you need or want to do it. But let's start with guidelines, because if we start a little bit smaller, we'll have more success. And then you can determine how extreme or how far in you want to take it. But a full therapeutic dosage of Keto OS is taking it 2 times a day. A lot of people really could take a half scoop to start with and see how it feels in the morning, see how it feels in the afternoon. I got on a kick where it really runs in my system for 4 to 5 hours, so I half dose it, 4 doses, and then some days I need less energy, some days I need more. So it's not a when and how, it's like where do you want it? Like when do you need to feel better? When do you need that appetite suppression? I call it the witchy hour. It's where a lot of women go, and I'm so sorry, Jerry. I am saying women. It's a lot of men, not a lot of women. They have more control, I don't know why. But women and men, it's that witchy hour. It's about 3:30 and sometimes the kids are getting home and you're grabbing things out of the pantry that you know you shouldn't be grabbing. You just don't care. You just put it in your body. So you know, maybe that's the time that it's your time to drink your Keto OS with that lemon LaCroix with a little bit of extra lemon squeezed into it. Like, make it exciting. Enjoy it. I don't drink it the same way ever, but I'm a creature of change. I like new things. I like to look forward to new recipes all the time. So drink more water, especially when you're taking ketones. You need to drink more water. I suggest drinking about 8 ounces of water before you drink your ketone mix. Go ahead and just start eliminating sugars. Stay away from sugary foods. Okay, maybe tell yourself Saturday night, I'm going to have a dessert. Or, I mean, I don't know where you're at, but like growing up, we were rewarded when we cleaned our plate and we got dessert after every meal. You know, so I struggled with that a long time with nutrition because that was a reward for me. Don't use sugar as a reward for your kids. Don't do it. Don't start it now. Eliminate flours, wheats, grains, no glutens. Stick to leafy greens for sources of carbohydrates. Have your first meal before 11 and 1. Drink bulletproof coffee instead, or tea, and I'll go over that. Increase your healthy fat, stay within a % of fat, protein, carb ratio, 80, 15, 5. That's what you can put into those calculators. Eat your last meal before 8 o'clock. If you need to eat after 8 o'clock, make sure it's fat only. Move your body more, workout, run. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, that's cool too. And I'll just show, is that the last slide? Okay, what I want to tell, get your pins out. All I'm going to do now is walk you through a typical day that I like to do, okay? I wake up at about 7 o'clock and I'm going to do my, we have, it's not out yet, but it's coming out very, very soon. And you can order a bundle pack. It's a little expensive. You could go in on a friend with it. But, where'd that guy go? I take my keto cream package. I drink it all, okay. Right here. And what it is it's 15 grams of fat. And it's MCT and coconut oil powderized. Those are two very healthy fats that will help you burn fats. And if anything, and just eliminate your carbohydrates in the morning. I did oatmeal for 5 years. My daughter, I thought, like, we've done oatmeal with a banana and, you know, honey in it, flavoring it, like, and if I tested her blood sugar after that, like, just, like fruit, you're just spiky, like your body, what do you give a diabetic when they go down? Like orange juice or a banana, you know, like it's just an insulin spike. So why would we do that? Why would we do that first thing in the morning? Because when you have insulin spikes first thing in the morning, when you wake up, your cortisols are up. It's what kind of shoots you out of bed, and that's just a bad disaster. So if anything, I now give my daughter oatmeal at night. And when I eat my carbohydrates, it's at night. It's called carb backloading. And I'm going to sleep with it, and they're also kind of lower glycemic index carbohydrates, but it actually helps me sleep better. I sleep better, sometimes a little bit of carbs at night. But I haven't done this on the hormone level all day, which would have dictated everything I ate from there on out. I have a whole presentation I saw, and it was by Dr. Ryan Lowry at the University of South Florida, and it was all about starting your days with fats, because that wired your metabolism for the rest of the day to actually tolerate and work better with carbohydrates later in the day. And it also talked about intermittent fasting, which is what I do. And people who were lean, an argument about intermittent fasting was, typically people who were lean and didn't overcompensate later in the day calorically, but people who struggled with weight and intermittent fasted did sometimes overcompensate. And really what that comes down to is a principle, because some of them said, I didn't eat much this morning, or they didn't eat the right things when they broke the fast, which led them into more things. So it's about putting in these healthy practices for success. But so I do this, it's 15 grams of fat, and I like to put it in a bullet and mix it up because it makes it really frothy. I also, because I've experimented a lot, I do better with protein powder in the morning. So I add 1 scoop of vanilla protein powder in my coffee with this. So I get about 15 grams of fat and about 30 grams of protein. And then I'm full, I'm satisfied, I work, and then about 10:30 I can tell I'm starting to get a little bit hungry. And at that point I take my scoop of non-caffeine Keto OS, because I drink caffeine in my coffee. So I take the non-caffeine Keto OS, and it suppresses the appetite. I get I get about 8 hours of work done in 4 hours now. I used to eat every 2.5 hours, and I used to eat big breakfasts. I used to be worried about prepping my food and what I was going to eat at 7, at 9, at 11, at 1, and it absolutely, I can't believe how much time I wasted on food. And so to get out of bed, to throw in a package of keto cream, and then to have my ketones, and I'm not thinking about food until about 12:30 or 1 o'clock. Now, if you did that, if you tried to do that, I'm telling you right now, I've worked with so many women who would skip breakfast and then they wouldn't eat till lunch. Okay, what was happening was their metabolisms were downregulating, and it was causing stress in their body. And what happens when we have stress? We gain fat, we gain it right here. And so by taking in these fats, now you've just given yourself a fuel source that did break the fast, but you've also put in ketones, which are going to give you more cellular energy and oxygen and more ATP. This is going to keep your metabolism running even in the absence of food, because like we covered, it acts as a fourth macronutrient. So then at about noontime, I'll have eggs, have some bacon, and like I used to eat a lot of like oatmeal and egg whites and fruit, and because I was always hungry when I ate sugar or carbohydrates. I would just get so hungry every 2.5 hours. I eat my bacon, I eat my eggs. I'm not really hungry till dinner, but I work out, I lift weights at about 3:30. And so at that point, I take a half scoop of caffeine ketones, kind of as a little pre-workout. And so, and also in the morning, if you like to do your workout in the morning, just take a scoop of the ketones 30 minutes before you work out. It'll give you the fuel you need to go into your workout. So it's about acting when do you want them, when do you want them in your life. And so for a snack, I'll have some avocado, I'll have a hard-boiled egg, I'll have some nuts. After I work out, I'll do a protein shake and I'll do a banana in it. I'll do quick sugar. And that is because I'm using my muscles. That is because I react better to muscle building. It's not even on a fat loss spectrum. This is just something that works better for my body with building muscle. So if you're not working out, look at carbs as earning them. Like if you're working out, maybe you can have some carbs after you work out because you just earned it. If you're not working out, just keep them out of there. And I think you should move, you should work out. But at night, if I had a hard workout that day, I'll have some rice, have some jasmine rice with a piece of meat and vegetables. If I didn't get to a workout that day, I'm just gonna do my butters and oils on roasted vegetables and meat. So taking about 2 scoops a day. I'm using fats in the morning. I may taper into some carbohydrates as the night goes on, but they're good carbs, they're clean carbs. And then about once a week, twice a week, I hope weekend tonight, I have some things off the diet program, okay? So, I hope you all enjoyed that tonight. We just really, I can talk, and I'm sorry if I talk too much, but please shut that off now.